everyone, it's Avril here. I'm just switching on early to make sure everything is still okay, and as you can see I've had to put my cardi on. It is cold and I don't know if you can hear that noise. That's actually the rain. It is absolutely pouring down outside and it's just come on in the last 5 minutes. So I'm not due to start till 1 o'clock, we've just got a minute to go, and I am not sure how many people are going to be joining us live today, but I thought I would just kick this video off to give people some time to jump in and join. I know a lot of people have signed up for the replay and that's fantastic. And if you're on here live and you'd like the replay, I've put a link just underneath for you to sign up for that. So I'm feeling a little bit nervous actually, if I'm going to be honest with you. I've not done a lot of Facebook Lives before, so I'm feeling, I don't know why I'm feeling nervous, but I'm feeling a little bit nervous. Because I haven't scripted anything for this, not that I would normally script anything anyway, but I just wanted this to be really natural and, like everything that I do, come from the heart. So I hope that what I'm going to share with you over the next 5 days resonates with you, and I also hope that some of the things that I'm going to share with you, if you haven't already read my book, helps you to make some changes in your life and maybe go and do some of the things that you've been wanting to do for a while. And if it doesn't help you make changes, maybe help to inspire you to completely reinvent your life, because that's what I'm going to be chatting with you all about today. My wonderful little book, which this only went live, published versions has only just gone live. In fact, I'm not even sure if you can buy it yet, because I'm still in the proofreading stage of it. So it's really exciting for me. It's been a strange thing because it's been a while since the ebook went out on Amazon and you could download it on Kindle. So it's been strange actually having this hard copy, the real thing, arrive, and when it did arrive I was just like, wow, I've actually done this, something I wanted to do for a very long time. And that, along with being inspired by someone who has been coaching me online, I thought it would be a nice idea to do some Reinvent You Facebook Lives. So this week we are going to be talking all about the reinvention method, or in other words, all about how to reinvent you. And I'm going to focus each day, there's 8 steps to the reinvention method, so obviously we've only got 5 days, so I can only focus on specific things. So I'm not going to cover every single step, but I am going to cover as much as I can about some of the steps that are in the book and how I used every single one of these things actually to completely reinvent my life. But I didn't originally use them consciously, I was doing it unconsciously, and I guess that was why I was inspired to eventually write this little book, because there was a moment in my life when I sat down and I thought, I'm doing this unconsciously. What would happen if I stopped and consciously done all of these things that I'm just doing without thinking about, and put them into practice and use them almost as a template to reinvent my life, I guess, anytime that I got stuck. Because a lot of the things that I was coaching clients around and doing hypnotherapy around was the very things that are in these books. And not only was it working for me, it was working for so many people that I was helping to transform and change their lives. and that then became the reinvention method. Well, it actually was something before that. It was called a mind cleanse before that, and I basically just reworked it all and pulled it together in this. So anyway, so let me tell you a bit about the reinvention method, or Reinventing You, and how it all came about. And if you already know me, you've worked with me, you'll know that I don't do this work just because I like being a coach or a hypnotherapist. I came into this work because I had a really challenging childhood and a really challenging young adulthood as well, because all of those challenges that I had in my early life had a massive impact on me as I was growing up. And as I went into adulthood, I was totally unequipped to deal with so many things that my life, probably up until my late 20s, maybe even my early 30s, was quite miserable. Even though on the outside it looked exceptionally successful, and I had what looked like to everybody a great marriage, a great job, great career. Inside I was really, really unhappy and really miserable. And I spent a lot of time I don't like to use the word self-sabotaging, but I guess I spent a lot of time doing that, sabotaging the things that were good, because I was so messed up inside, and no amount of help that I got from, outside forces or sources, it never changed anything. It would fix me up for a little while, but eventually all those old feelings that I had about myself would eventually creep back in, and so I would just keep going through this cycle. And so eventually I decided that I couldn't do this any longer. Something had to change. And I guess that's when I realised that all that change has to happen on the inside, and it wouldn't matter what was going on outside there in the outside world. If I didn't consciously make the changes internally, then my life was never going to change, and I was always going to be in this, on this cycle, I suppose, on this treadmill all the time of, going round and round and round in circles, sometimes happy, sometimes not, never quite satisfied. So I actually decided that the best way to do that was to just withdraw into myself and work on me. And that's what I did. And that's probably the basis of this book. The whole idea of reinventing yourself is actually really simple. The challenge comes in our thinking, I guess. And until we start making a commitment to ourselves and changing our thinking, then that reinvention can never happen. Change can never happen. And as well as working on my own stuff, I've worked with so many other people who I see huge potential in them, but I know that what's missing is their own commitment to themselves to make that change. And that's one of the first steps in Reinventing You, making the commitment to you to make the change, not the commitment to other people or the commitment to get a job done or do something, but the actual commitment to yourself, and owning that commitment on the basis that you're worth this investment in yourself, you're worth making that commitment to. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. And yet, when I was working on myself, I can't honestly say I was 100% committed to making the changes that I needed to make for me. A lot of that drive to change and to transform my life and be not a different person, but to be a better person, was never for me. It was always for other people. people out there in the world, whether that was my husband, my children, and to be perfectly honest, a lot of the drivers was my parents. I wanted to be a much better person for them. So it wasn't until I realised that I had to make that commitment to me, because I couldn't use them as a driver to propel the internal changes that I needed to make. So it was when I finally got down and made that commitment to myself that things actually started to change. And I became more focused and more driven internally on what was right and what was good for me, as opposed to making changes for other people. And that's a really key part of reinventing yourself. And I don't know about you, but any of you who've ever tried to make life changes, or maybe for those of you who've had life changes forced on you as a result of some kind of loss, or, well, yeah, loss, because, you know, a lot of the time our biggest life changes do come through loss. Sometimes it's hard to move forward when these types of changes happen because we get stuck. And again, when we're trying to accept those changes, we're accepting them not for ourselves, but usually because we need to for other people. So it's not until we finally make that commitment to accept these changes for ourselves, to commit to this change for us, regardless of what other people are doing or saying or thinking, that we actually begin to see progress, and we actually begin to experience the progress of our own transformation. So this week, when we're talking about reinventing yourself, one of the first things that I want to encourage you to do, if you are looking to make changes in life, is to make a commitment to yourself. And I don't mean just, all right, today I'm committed to doing this, or today I'm going to write a to-do list and get through everything on my to-do list. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a real heartfelt commitment that this is the person that you want to be, for you and for you alone, not for anybody else or for anything else, just simply for you. And when you connect and make that heartfelt commitment, I can pretty much guarantee you'll begin to experience a shift in your own energy, and that energy will expand and open up and allow possibilities and opportunities to present themselves to you in order for you to start taking the next steps that you'll need to take in order to reinvent whatever aspect of your life that is, whether that's reinventing your relationships with other people, people you love, your friends, your colleagues at work, whatever it is. Or maybe it's reinventing a career, anything. The minute you make that heartfelt commitment, that's when you will start to begin to experience a shift. And what's more, that shift in energy will be the very thing that will propel you forward to take all the steps that you need to take. And I think if you only listened to this one live Reinvent You today, and you didn't listen to anything else, and you made a commitment to yourself, you know, you sat down, and that's what I'm going to get you to do, is to just sit down on your own, quiet space, and just take a deep breath and ask yourself, what is it that I really need to commit to here in order to be the person that I know I am and be the person that I want to be. And when you make that heartfelt commitment, and if that's all you do after this today and you don't bother to listen to anything else, I can pretty much guarantee you will experience some kind of change. And I know that to be true because I've done it myself. And not only have I done it myself, it's one of the first things I get all my clients to do. How committed are you to this process? How committed are you to taking these steps? You could even scale it on a scale of 1 to 10. How committed are you? And if you don't have that commitment there, then I would suggest that maybe that thing that you want to do isn't really aligned with you. And I'm not saying it never will be. What I'm saying is that maybe right now you're not ready to make that commitment and take the action. So I kind of started getting right into it there. So that's what we're going to be doing all this week. I'm going to be taking little bits and pieces from this book around all the 8 steps that I have in my book. And if you want a copy of the book, if you've not already got one, you can actually get one free on my website. So if you go into newlandspersonaldevelopment.com, there is, I think it's on the homepage, you can actually sign up and get a free copy of my book. Or if you want to be really generous and help me raise funds for Children's First, then you can go on Amazon and buy the book on Kindle and maybe check out, see if the actual hard version is available up there. So if you go and download the book, you can have a read through and read all about that first step, that commitment to change. And I'd just like to encourage you to sit down today and think about some of the things that you would really like to make changes on in your life, and check in and see where you are on your level of commitment towards that. And if you don't feel that level of commitment's high enough, just ask yourself, how aligned am I to that thing? Do I really want that in my life? And if you don't really want it, just ditch it. Stop doing it. There's no point in doing things that you don't want to be doing. But if you really do want to do that, then ask yourself, how can you move your commitment? Maybe consider, am I doing this for other people? Do I want this for other people? Or do I really want it for me? So that's what I'd suggest you do. Go in and do that, and then follow me for the rest of the week, and I'll take you through a number of steps that will help you on your way. So that's it. I'm going to keep these videos short. I'm not going to do lots and lots of chat. I just want to let you get a sense of my reinvention method and how I know it can help you, and take you through some of the steps that will help you transform whatever it is that you want to transform in your life. So let's put our hands on our hearts, take a deep breath in, and just make a commitment to yourself today. I promise that, whatever that might be, and focus on whatever you need to focus on right now, because in this moment, that's all that matters. So until tomorrow, at 1 o'clock tomorrow, I'll be back. I'm going to keep them at 1 o'clock since I changed the time. I had some technical difficulties. Hopefully they're all sorted now. I just love technology when my husband is working in London and I have to do it all myself. Makes me feel so proud that I can achieve it. So, and overcome the challenges. So, tomorrow, 1 o'clock, we're going to be talking about what actually needs to happen in order for you to start seeing the changes. So the first step is making that commitment, but there are other things that you need to do along the way and consistently do along the way. So I shall be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock. If you don't have the book, you want a free copy and want to dive in, have a little read and see what it's all about, what Reinventing You is all about, you can go on my website And if you missed the replay or you haven't had time to watch this short live play today, there's a link up here in the feed, I believe, and you can sign up and get these live Facebook streams delivered to your mailbox and save them and watch them later. Okie doke, so I have no idea who's here because I've not been able to keep up with what all the little things up there because I'm just so new to all of this stuff. Anyway, thank you everybody. I'm going to reinvent my Facebook Live and get really switched on with it, and I shall see you all tomorrow at 1 o'clock. I really appreciate you being here, and I am totally committed to joining you every day for the next 4 days. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.